Hi, my name is Christian Smith, and today I wanted to talk to you about the presentation I have for Team Unibrow Picasso's work order system. Team Unibrow Picasso's work order system was, of course, designed by Team Unibrow Picasso, which is comprised of the team members Brent Gann, Casey Harrell, myself, Christian Smith, Deborah Roy, and Will Paul. Now, we all had the roles that we were assigned in the beginning, and we all accomplished those, but we also tried to branch out and tried to get our fingers in a little bit of everything so that we all had a large picture of how the process worked. The project that we've been working on, the Team Unibrow Picasso Work Order System, or TUPWOS, is a prototype of a system that's meant to allow small computer repair shops to enter a more digital age. It allows them to track customer information, devices, their history, their work orders, through a persistent database on an Android touchscreen tablet. It's going to take a primarily paper-based system and move it into a more digital age for these shops at a cost-effective price. And it does something else that I'm rather proud of. It makes a shop that's in the computer industry a little bit more techy.
Hi, my name is Will Polk. The motivation behind our work order system is pretty simple. The work order system is a mobile work order application for computer repair shops. This system will allow a small computer repair shop to track customer information, customer devices, and repairs to be performed. Technicians will be able to add customer information, notes regarding a repair, add services performed, and complete the work order all from a mobile device. The work order system will require a user to log into the application, provide functionality to manage application users, allow a technician to enter customer information, including information about any device the customer wishes to have serviced, allow a technician to create work orders for a customer, allow a technician to change the status of a work order, and allow the technician to enter notes on the work order. Now I'm going to hand it over to Casey.
Next, we will look at some of the problems we encountered during the development of TUPWOS and the steps we took to resolve them. The biggest pain point that we encountered through the entirety of this project was using a remote repository. We had several instances of our local projects becoming corrupted and having to reclone from the main repository. Another hurdle we had to overcome was that although some of us had Android experience, which aided in the application design, and some of us had database experience, which aided in the design of the database, none of us had integrated the two. Finally, the overall problem to overcome was development in a virtual environment. Now let's look at how we resolve them. Due to the short time frame of this project, we didn't have the man-hours to investigate why we were having these issues, and if they could have been resolved by hosting our repository on GitHub instead of on Bitbucket and interacting with Git. So since we had a workaround of recloning our local projects, we simply worked through the pain. We realized early on that the database integration was going to be the big roadblock for our project, and we allocated sufficient time to do the research necessary to overcome the learning curve. To overcome the difficulties of being a virtual team, we maximized our use of communication. We did this by meeting weekly through Google Plus video conferencing. We were able to set up a group on Google Plus to allow us to communicate in real time with everyone on the team, and we utilized the issue tracking of Bitbucket to notify the rest of the team when a bug or possible enhancement was discovered or resolved. Now to Deb for an overview of the design process.
For the TUPWOS prototype, we utilize a persistent SQL database which is stored on the device. However, future enhancements would take this to a web-based server for multiple user access. There are 7 database tables: account, customer device, customer, service, service performed, work order notes, and work order. The table names are pretty much explanatory for the type of data the table will store. We chose an SQL-like database because many people are familiar with it and existing records can be modified for import into the TUPWOS database. We actually imported over 1,900 bogus customers into our database for the purpose of testing our algorithms for efficiency. Many records such as account, customer, and customer device cannot be deleted because of dependencies between these tables and the work order table. Instead, the system allows for inactivation of the records that are no longer needed. The use cases consist of all functional requirements necessary to operate the system, from adding the first user to log in to modifying the work order when completed for the customer. Let's take a look at TUPWOS. A newly installed TUPWOS system contains one account record which will be used to log into the system for the first time. If I were setting up TUPWOS, I would log in using the MNGR user ID and the password of 123. When the main menu appears, I would click on the Account Manage. Once in the Account Manage window, I can click on the drop-down arrow for accounts, and I can see that there's only one preset user in there on this new system. The system administrator is the first record created. To do this, I make sure that the Add New Account appears in the Account field and I enter the necessary information. Now I can add the name of the administrator, who will have full rights to the system. In this case, Robert Jones. Once all of the fields have been populated, I can save my changes. Besides the administrator, each technician and any other users who may need to access the system for adding or updating information must be set up with an account. Once the new administrator is added into the system, then the existing manager or MNGR record becomes inactive, so it cannot be used for login again, and the different users use their own accounts to log in. Now I'll turn it over to Will.
Okay, so now we're going to show you the customer management functionality. Simply access the customer management button from the main menu. The first form that comes up will ask you to either create or edit a customer. If you want to edit a customer, you have to first search for them. There's search criteria here that you need to fill, one or more. If you leave it blank and hit search, it'll show every customer in the system. So I go ahead and hit search. As you can see, it brings up a customer. Now if I go ahead and select edit, it'll bring us to the customer management form where we can edit the information for that user. So we can go in here and let's say we change the company name to our company, and then we select save. It'll save the customer to the database. So now if we back up and do a search again for that customer, you'll see that our company has changed. To create a customer is just as easy. You simply select the create button. It'll bring you back to that customer management form, except it'll be empty, of course. As you can see, there are required fields and there are optional fields that we have to fill out. So we go ahead and fill out a test customer. Let's fill in just the required information. You'll notice too that we automatically format such things as the phone number. We also require that you put in the email address twice. I think that's common nowadays. So we select save changes, we save the customer. So if we go back here, type in custom, we can see that we've created a new customer. Okay, that's it for the customer management functionality. Thank you.
Okay, next we'll be looking at the functionality for creating a new work order. This also encompasses the functionality of creating a new customer and creating a new device, because you can't have a work order without a device, and you can't have a device without a customer. So if you go ahead and click on Create Work Order from the main menu, this brings up a blank Create New Work Order form, and we've built in the functionality to be able to search by a full or partial first name, full or partial last name, and full or partial phone number. But if you're not sure, you can always click search with none of them filled in, and this will populate the drop-down with every customer in the database. So I'm going to be the guinea pig for this demonstration. So type in my first name, click search, and you'll see that it auto-populates with my information. We do have the ability to create a customer from here, but for the purposes of time, Will has already discussed the create customer functionality. The only thing I will add is that once you've created a customer, it will bring you back to this create new work order form and will auto-populate the customer information that you just created. Okay, so once you've selected your customer, you'll look for the device. You'll see that I was previously in with an Asus RAL7. This is for a different device. It's going to be for a Dell Latitude laptop. So you click Create next to Device. This brings up the Create Device form. So we're going to select Laptop. It is a Dell Latitude. We'll make up a model number. The next three fields are optional, but we'll go ahead and populate them. The operating system is Windows 7, and admin for the administrator account. Click Save Changes. Device created successfully. Brings you back to the Create New Work Order with the latest device that you just created populated in the device field. So now we can go ahead and populate the problem description. Laptop, blue screens on boot. Figure that's an uncommon problem for a Windows machine. We'll give it a couple days for completion, so 2013-04-30, and we're going to give this an estimated price of $100. So you click Save Work Order. This writes the work order to the database and brings you back to the main menu. Thank you.
Hi, this is Christian again, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about our service management view. Go ahead and click that on the main menu there. The service management view is intended for managers to be able to create new services and edit services that already exist for the work order system. Let's start by creating a new service. Let's call this service Test 2, and we'll make the price $1. We can leave it as taxable, and when we save that, it's going to allow that to be pushed to the database, and that'll be accessible from anywhere in the program that uses services. If you look back, Test 2 shows up, Test 2 at $1 and taxable. Okay, well, let's try editing a service. Let's look at CEN 4021. Okay, now CEN 4021 is called a non-taxable item. Let's make it a taxable item. Save changes. And now when we pull up CEN 4021 again, it is a taxable item. There are other options on the top right corner that allow you to save without using the Save Service button, to allow you to go back, and a help option that takes you to the help menu. And as always, we tried to keep our theme similar to all of our other forms. Next, I believe Brent Gann's going to be presenting the Open Work Order view.
Hi, I'm Brent Gann, and I'm here to talk about the Open Work Order functionality that we have on our TUPWOS work order system. So I'm going to open it up here so you can see what we're working with. And it pulls up. And so here's the work order form. So you have all your different forms to type in. And so I'm going to type in Bob Little, who's a hypothetical customer that I put in here when I first created my database. So there's Bob and Little. And then we're going to search, and it should pull him up here in the customer form. And then the work order will pull up that he's got a HP DV7, which those are continually broken. But it's got one here. And so what we can do here, if we really want to, is we can go to the work log and type in that we replace the CD drive, and now it works. And so we'll type that in. Sorry, my emulator's a little slow recently. And then we can say, now it works. And it'll type in everything that we've put there. And then we'll say it's complete. And we don't need to add any services, but you can see you've got 2 here. You can actually modify those in our program in another form, but it'll show you, and actually it shows us as replacing the CD drive 3 times. This should show that we can demonstrate that multiple times. And then we're going to update the work order, and when you update the work order, it'll actually save this, and next time you pull it up in the work history, it'll show we replaced the CD drive. Now it works. And we'll update the work order, it'll save it and take you back to the main screen. To finish up the conclusion, I just want to say that this was something that we envisioned as a work order system on Android for a couple reasons. A, we wanted it portable. You just put this on a tablet, you can walk around the store, you can check people in, and you're not having to share between computer to computer. But also, Android really caters toward an iconic view, so you have a simpler interface. You can move between forms super fast, as opposed to having to figure out which menu item something's under or which icon across your toolbar goes to save it or create a new work order or open a work order. And so this just allows for a simple interface where you can do exactly what you need to do and what you want to do quickly. As far as future work, there's several things we could do to make this project better that just with our time period that we had of a semester, we didn't have time to. We could secure the database against SQL injection. We could implement reports. There's additional views that we could have. We could build it where it could take money, implement the PayPal API where we could take that money right on the device, a Square credit card reader, so many different things. One of the first things we would probably add is a queue so you could see which devices you've had the longest. Just things that we didn't have time to get around to, but stuff that we had planned, and it just hit the chopping block when we realized 4 months was the time period we had. And so these things are where you could go further from this, and it's something that even though what we have is functional for a prototype, these other additions would be what is really necessary to build a program that is ideal to sell and distribute and to make it into these work order systems, these computer repair shops, where everyone could use it and it would be fully functional for every need that they have.